See if I can read this. I need the practice, and I like it. It was written by a spouse. Guide to spouses and partners. I will write down what I have to say from a husband and wife perspective. However, this also applies to opposites, meaning if your husband or boyfriend has akathisia. Proximity. During a peak wave, meaning the worst AKA on the Richter scale, watch your proximity. Keep away from your partner. Don't touch them. It's best to leave the room, but don't leave the house. Stay within reach. This does not mean don't go to work. It simply means don't leave the house if you don't really need to, just to get away from this. Your partner will want the room dark and quiet, almost like a PTSD victim. Communication. During a peak wave, you don't matter to your partner. Nothing you say or do has any effect. Even if you stand there with a gun to your head, it won't matter. You can't jolt them out of this with any action whatsoever. Do periodic checks of what she's doing, since how she's doing is obvious. Keep communication to a minimum and take care of everything else there is to do. Take care of the kids, the laundry, the groceries. If you need help, call an understanding friend, a nanny, pay a hooker to stand watch. I don't care, just make it happen. While you are worried at work and texting to check on things, avoid asking, "How are you doing?" Try asking, "How bad is it now?" This way you save your partner from the emotions of being a burden that always has to say they are doing bad. It helps. Prepare 5 or 6 variations of the same phrase to say during peak waves, such as, "You can do this. You have done it before. This will go away, and you know it will. It always has. This is not the end. We can fight this." Anyway, you catch my drift. You have to repeat those the entire day or night, since during a wave, they are in zombie mode and can't think straight or rational. Something overcomes their mind and takes over, and you have to make sure that it doesn't win. You have to keep overriding those thoughts for her until the wave is no longer at peak level. Death. Akathisia is real. Suicide thoughts are real. The attempts are real. If you don't pay attention during a peak wave, things can go south in an instant. Your partner will think of nothing but death. They won't care about the kids or $1 million business deal waiting around the corner. You won't matter. The kids don't matter. Only death matters. So make sure you remove all sharp objects such as scissors, knives, ropes, anything that can be used to harm themselves, because they will. They will. The akathisia fatality rate alone in this group is still too high. None of them leave a suicide note or give a flying fuck what happens to you or the world afterwards. It's always a split-second decision. You think to yourself you're going to the toilet for a proper 15-minute dump, and by the time you flush, they've already gone. They snapped. That's why you should always take it seriously and then say, "I'm going to do it." They very well might. Most of them go ahead with it due to the lack of proper support from family members, since all friends are gone within the first 4 weeks, never to be seen again. Peak wave checklist. How am I doing? Not crying. Number one, do not call an ambulance or a doctor. In fact, do not call anyone at all, because they may call an ambulance, and in doing so, dooming your partner to eternal hell. Do not call an ambulance or a doctor. In fact, don't call anyone at all, because they may call an ambulance, and in doing so, they may doom your partner to eternal hell. 2, your partner will pace the house as if it helps a fraction during that time. Increase your proximity into visual range. It's during the pacing time that they can snap, using the momentum, not being in bed, and go for the nearest kill. 3, don't panic and yell with them and break down. Suck it up. Remain in control of safety and use your phrases. In some cases, they can intervene and interrupt the peak wave, hence saving the day. 4, if the peak wave is during a time you're actually getting ready for work and you can tell it's more intense than usual, call in sick. Do it. We both know you won't lose your job over this unless you do it every week. So leave this joker for the worst of times. Call in sick. Go through the list. Make yourself some breakfast and blur out your partner's ramblings. You stayed home for safety reasons, more or less. I don't know how I did this. Sorry. I don't know how any of us do this. How do we do this? 5, if your partner asked you to call an ambulance, still don't. Despite all of my knowledge of akathisia, her request was so convincing that we did call an ambulance, and that stunt we both went south faster than you could think. They wanted to lock her up in a mental institution and were feeding her antipsychotics, even though she had no psychological disorder. We were able to manipulate the staff and the head doctor to believe it all good and got her the hell out of Dodge, never to return. So don't you fucking dare. Your own sanity. Wow. Yes, finally we are going to talk about you and take care of you. It is paramount to make sure you don't lose your sanity in all of this and get sucked into the deep, dark hole of depression. Supporting your partner during this wave is not for the faint of heart. It is hard work. It sure is. God bless you. Thank you for helping. Supporting your partner during the wave is not for the faint of heart. It is hard work. It will perform the last 3-layer test on you. What kind of human are you? What kind of man are you? And what kind of husband are you? If you opt for divorce, you aren't a husband enough. If you opt for an affair to take care of a rusty willy, you will not be man enough. If you opt for neither and just ignore the situation altogether, you are not human enough. Wow. However, after the wave is over and you survive the ordeal of supporting your partner, you, my man, have balls of brass. Huge balls. You will expose your huge oiled up brass balls in your front yard and blind us with the reflection of the sun coming off of it. You will win an Oscar for the best supporting human. Hell, even tourist group will come all the way from China just to take a look at those huge dinosaur scale balls you have earned. It's your God-given right to those blinding us balls. During a wave of every scale, your partner doesn't care about what you're doing